your attention, please.
You need passion. You need desire. You need one. We play with that passion. We play together. We play for each other. And we play to win. We are Notre Dame. USA!
Now, brought to you by www.indianajunes.com. It's my great pleasure to welcome Len Clark for the Notre Dame Report. Len, welcome to the programme.
Hi, Declan. Every time I hear that opening, it shakes down the thunder from the sky, which is a line out of the famous Notre Dame Victory March.
Well, there you go. Great stuff altogether. Now, this week we were waiting in the long grass to see what would emerge from the other conferences, the other leagues, the other championships, who would be emerging as a potential opponent for Notre Dame in the bowl game. And it would also decide possibly which bowl game Notre Dame might end up in as well.
In just a couple of hours, it will be finalized, but we can tell you what the national championship playoff picture looks like. The four teams that will be in the semifinals will be Ohio State, LSU, Louisiana State University, Clemson, and the University of Oklahoma. Now, everything is pointing 99.9% that Notre Dame will play on Saturday, December 28th in the Camping World Bowl in Orlando, Florida, against an opponent from the Big 12 Conference. And right now, it's about 75-25. 75% of the pundits are saying it will be the University of Texas or it will be Kansas State. And so right now, my gut says it will be Notre Dame in Texas on Saturday the 28th in the Camping World Bowl, Declan.
Okay. So, but that picture will probably be clearer after today's games.
Well, the games were played yesterday.
Okay.
And so there's an official program at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States that will formally announce who the top four teams are.
Right.
And so is it going to be LSU as the number one team, or is it going to be Ohio State? And so a lot of it depended on the play yesterday. And so everything will shake out from that. But we've been told, listen, it's going to be the Camping World Bowl. But right now, there's some backdoor dealings. Is it going to be Texas, or is it going to be Kansas State? Obviously, a lot of people would like to see the Notre Dame-Texas matchup. There's a little bit of a history. Notre Dame played in the 1925 Rose Bowl, and then they put a moratorium. They did not play for another 44 years in a bowl game. And in 1969, they ended that moratorium, and they played the University of Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Notre Dame lost that game, but they have met Texas in the Cotton Bowl, I believe, two other times, and they've won those games. And so Notre Dame leads the all-time series. It's a marquee matchup in terms of college football powerhouses. And so it comes down to marketing as well. And I know the people in Orlando with the Camping World Bowl would say, we want Notre Dame and Texas in that bowl game.
That and the fact that geographically speaking, it's going to be easier for fans of Texas to get to Orlando as opposed to fans of Kansas.
Now, remember, it's the holiday season, and so everything has been jacked up a lot. So I was just looking at some prices down there, and believe me, they've jumped up about 200%. And now with the announcement that Notre Dame and Texas are possibilities, you would believe those fares are going to be up. And so it's planes, trains, and automobiles, buses, as you well know. My schedule, Declan, is that we'll find a way to get from South Bend to Orlando, Florida, if I have to go through Wapakoneta, Ohio, if I have to.
Yes, home of Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon.
That's very good.
You're not going to believe this, Len, but I've actually been there. That's how I know. It says on a sign when you come into the town.
Now, you were only a hop, skip, and a jump away from the University of Notre Dame. That's only about 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, I was 8 years old at the time, so, you know. It was the year after he walked on the moon, incidentally.
Well, I think if Notre Dame was playing in a New Year's Day game, everybody would be walking on the moon. So that's a little bit of a disappointment because Clemson and Virginia played for the ACC championship, and Clemson dominated that game, which means that because of the conference affiliation, Virginia was extended an invite into the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame has an affiliation with the ACC conference, but Notre Dame during the regular season beat Virginia.
Yes,
so
I remember.
People are scratching their heads and say, why can't Notre Dame be in the Orange Bowl? Well, once again, Notre Dame is an independent Virginia is part of the ACC conference, and so this kind of is a message to Notre Dame saying, hey, you might consider joining a conference. Now, there are advantages of joining a conference because you're not going to be playing in the lower tier bowl game if you have a record of 10-2 like this year. But the other problem is, with Notre Dame being an independent, they have a television contract with NBC here in the United States. That means they don't share any of the revenue, so it's a financial decision.
Yes.
But it gets tougher and tougher every year, and that's something that you might ask George Swarbrick on the show next week about the possibility of joining a conference. So
joining a conference,
Notre
yes.
Notre Dame really needs to run the table every year to assure themselves a spot in a national championship semifinal. But every year it gets tougher. It's like a seventh grader in the United States doing calculus at the college level.
Yes, exactly. And there have been seventh graders that have managed to do that. In fact, there's famous child prodigies who end up in university.
I'm just generalizing. There are a few exceptions. That's why I always say there's that 99.9% chance, that 1/10 of a chance percent that something might happen a little bit later in the day and Notre Dame might find themselves in a New Year's Six game. That's the goal. You want to play on New Year's Day. It's where the most prestigious bowl games are and where the most money is. And so the Camping World Bowl is on December 28th. A couple days later at the same stadium, they're going to play the Citrus Bowl. And they're going to be teams that are going to have a record equal to or inferior to the Notre Dame record this year.
Yeah.
And so the big thing right now, it's kind of disappointing from the Notre Dame standpoint because Notre Dame is playing their best football of the year. And there's some other questions to talk about as well. Since they're not playing in the national championship game, why would a person like a Chase Claypool, who has aspirations, the potential to play at the NFL level, why would he play in a game that, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it might be a game where he could get hurt and that might affect his future prospects. And so this is going to be one of those decisions is you want to play for your brothers. That's been the big mantra at Notre Dame, but there are some people scratching their heads and saying, is it really worth it?
Whereas if it was a bigger bowl, it'd be a bigger deal.
Yes, it is. If they're playing for the national championship, then you're playing for something. Right now, Notre Dame is just playing for an opportunity to play another game, to continue practice as you go into January, into the early spring football season and preparing for next year. And so there's an argument on both sides, but it's also a chance to continue to brand that Notre Dame name. But it's kind of tough to brand at a lower tier bowl as opposed to a New Year's Six.
So next week, when we have this conversation and we have Mr. Swarbrick on with us, we will know who they're playing. For definite, it's the Camping World Bowl. For definite, it's the 28th of December. For definite, it's Orlando. And we can kind of start the preview process.
You're exactly right. We're going to know in just a couple of hours, so I'm going to make my way to, actually, they're going to have a phone conference as opposed to a media conference, so I'll be on the line and getting the details. Really, right now, the big head-scratcher is, who are they going to play? Is it Texas or is it Kansas State or another Big 12 team? But in the media circles, as you well know, you have a pretty good idea. We're just waiting for the confirmation, that second source saying, yeah, this is who it's going to be.
Okay. Well, we're going to let you go and prepare for that, and we'll have a longer conversation next week when the athletic director will also be a guest of yours.
Well, it's going to be a guest of yours as well.
Yeah.
We're very excited to have Jack Swarbrick come on the show like he did last year to talk about the state of athletics at the University of Notre Dame, and more importantly, kind of giving us a preview of that Notre Dame Navy game will open up the 2020 football season in Dublin next season.
And we can also keep an eye on some of the other Notre Dame teams. I know the basketball teams have been in action as well. We can talk about them on next week's program.
Well, that's going to be a sore subject right now. There's basketball teams on both the men's and women's are going through some tough times, and so that's why I said, Declan, I'm behind you 100% when you ask those questions.
Okay. Len, we'll leave it there for the moment, and we'll talk again next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Merry Christmas to everybody in Dublin.
And Merry Christmas to you too, Len. And that's all we have for our Notre Dame report for this week.